What is going on, everybody? We're here. We're live. It is already somehow the last Sunday of the month. June is almost over. One, thankful for that because Pride Month is about as gay as you can be, literally. But we're almost done with Pride Month, thank God. But that does mean on the last Sunday, we get the supporter stream here on the RK Outpost live channel. So thank you guys who are already here. Thanks to the people that are waiting in the back where once a month, you don't have to just hear me ramble and spout my bullshit and rant about whatever or make fun of somebody in the chat or whatever it might be that day. Instead, you get to hear from other people, some of my biggest supporters, some who've been supporting for a long ass time. So without any further ado, we might as well get everyone introduced. I was going to, you know what? I had almost forgotten that this was the last of the month. I was going to go to see F1, which I've heard is fucking awesome. And I really want to watch it. I was going to go watch it this afternoon. And then I realized we got this stream. So regardless of how good that movie might be, can't skip out on this stream. Can't skip out on this stream. So I'll have to watch F1 tomorrow. First up, we got Mr. J. What's up, Mr. J?
Heidi ho. Yeah, almost forgot it too. You know, been a little bit tired today and playing a lot of games and suddenly your message popped up. Oh wait, it's the last Sunday of the month.
Well, hold on. Playing a lot of games. You mean that you were playing Pokemon Go, right?
Yes, but I could do that on the side while playing, World of Warships, Rust, or World of Warcraft. I can do both.
Okay, there you go. Multitasking.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We've also got Sir Reefer. What's up, Reefer?
Oh, just been busy as shit prepping to have like 30 people at my property.
30 people? That's a party.
Family reunion.
Oh my God.
July every year, man.
I have not been to a family reunion in freaking ever. A long time, which is, I kind of miss it. I haven't been to a family reunion long, but that does sound like a pain in the ass to get ready. Not going to lie.
Yeah, when you're hosting, it's not as fun. But
Probably
I do enjoy the antics we get up to because, well, let's be real. We're all a bunch of white trash idiots.
There you go. I mean, yeah, that sounds like a party to me.
Yeah.
And we've also got, returning after a while, we've got Sleazy, who is passed out, probably because...
Oh, the camera was on the whole time?
What's up, Sleazy? How you doing?
It's been a busy year. Fuck. Oh, doing good, though.
It is half over. That's the crazy thing is 2025 is halfway over now. Basically.
Crazy how time flies when you work your life away.
That and the number of things I've got on the stove. It's like, fuck. I need more time.
Yep. And shout out to Sleazy before the stream even started with 5 gifted memberships over here on RK Outpost Live. Thank you, Sleazy.
To the live channel, no less.
That's basically like a Medicare hat right there.
Yeah.
It's basically a Medicare hat that he just gifted everybody. So thank you, Sleazy. Appreciate it, man. We've got Biggles Mets. What's up, Biggles?
What's up, Ryan? My chat was telling me.
Well, that was definitely a cliffhanger.
That was.
I did not remove him. He just disappeared. That was. Oh, here he's back. What's up, Biggles?
Nope. He's dying.
That's something going on with him and maybe his internet or whatever. So I'm not
denied.
Sure.
I did not call the Mossad on him. Okay, I can promise that.
Skynet says no.
That was wild, to be honest. So we'll see if he can get that fixed. We got John Getz Gaming. What's up, John?
Hey guys, my chat's open. Okay, I was just making sure it wasn't a trigger for something. Yeah, so yeah, it has been busy, and by busy I mean like basically good games have been coming out. I don't actually have a personal busy schedule. It's just Claire Obscure came out, and now we got Death Stranding 2, and now we got oh my gosh.
Oh, Death Stranding's a walking simulator though.
I've been hearing this a lot more combat. I actually haven't gotten to the second game yet.
Yeah,
so I can't speak on that one.
Who likes doing fetch quests?
Well, what if it's really beautiful and you go really slowly?
I don't care how many pixels Kojima puts in the fucking feet, man.
I'll push back on this a little bit because there are a lot of games I can see walking simulators. That's where you're just like pressing forward. This actually does put challenge into the walking where it's like, it's certainly a lot more of a slow-paced game, but you have
Like-
to, first of all, having to avoid killing people or else they explode and destroy the entire map adds a little bit of extra challenge. You have to use like stun weapons and everything. There are a lot of enemies, and I'm only speaking on the first game again. I hear the second one's a lot more action-packed, but
If
yeah,
the,
then
if the
it's like,
second one's
hey,
faster paced, I'll give them that. Like, because
Yeah.
I give it shit, but I understand what it's about. And this is
Well,
coming
and
from a guy who enjoyed Until Dawn, but that is designed to be a movie. It doesn't lie to you
Right.
about what it is.
Yeah,
You know what I
that
mean?
one- yeah, that's when I play kind of half for the lulz and half for and to see like famous actors do their mocap and stuff and
Yeah,
kind of
and
laugh
it
at
was
like
super
Rami
impressive
Malek in
when it
an
came
early
out.
game and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
but,
crazy.
like,
It was crazy seeing the Pharaoh from Night at the Museum in a video game.
yeah, but like Death Stranding, it does add like a lot of gameplay to walking. As silly as that sounds, it's like navigating a river in Death Stranding is 100 times harder than navigating a river in Skyrim. It's like you have to pack up these specific. It's more of a simulator. In
Seems
true
like a lot of
sense, where it's
strategy
like-
involved in the entire
Right.
Yeah,
game.
it's like you got to pack up these specific ladders so you can navigate this much of a gap, and then if the slope is too much, you need to balance your weight correctly so that you don't fall down the mountain. It's more of a true simulator. It's like as crazy as some elements are, it's very realistic in some instances. I don't know. It's hard
Hey,
to
people like to play
explain.
Flight Simulator, you know?
Yeah, it's just
and
like
that's
very down to earth kind of strategy as far as what it works into walking. As silly as that sounds.
It's funny you bring up Flight Simulator because I just am like 90% done with my DCS simulator.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I got the second camera up. I just haven't had time to. Hold on. There we go. Let's do this.
Oh damn!
Yeah, there we
he's got
go.
multi-cam.
nice.
Wow.
Look at this dude with fucking
Two
production value.
chairs.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah. So
2 cameras. That's just impressive. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you've got multiple angles. I'm over
Yeah.
here like moving my camera around so you people don't see my ugly ass.
You could get like
Yeah,
a
well, then
hot
I'd have
chick
to,
sit
like,
in the other
add-
chair,
well,
and then you'll increase your views by a lot.
well, speaking of angles and views, we got another camera coming in. We got United Spacers Alliance. We got Tim for the first time in a while. What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah. My wife had to run out, so I'm like, hey, let me hop on for a bit here. So it's been a while, you're right. But it's also been a while. I think next month is like 5 years of top supporter, either on Patreon or here on YouTube. So congratulations on, what is it, 6 years next year or next month for you in August, I think?
Yeah.
2019, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be like basically the last day of July, first day of August. That is 6
Yep,
years.
Yep.
Which is nuts.
Boys.
I don't even think I did anything last year because I like kind of forgot about it. So maybe we have to do a 6-year stream on that
Yeah.
anniversary.
As Rewriting Ripley would phrase it, the beginning of his descent into toxic right-wing rabbit holes.
Bro. Rewriting Ripley, a lot of things. Ugly, dumb bitches, stupid cunts, like whatever you want to call them. They got some damn production value over there, okay? They told a great story in that video.
It's like a 48 hours documentary. It's like the beginning of his descent.
It was good. Like if I didn't know any better, I would have fucking say, yeah, look what happened to that guy. And then Biggles is back.
There
No
he is.
green screen. What's up, Biggles?
I tried changing the what's it called?
Back
The
screen?
browser. No, the browser. I changed the browser, so hopefully this works. But
What
my
were you using?
I don't know. One of them. I just click a button. There's like 4 of them on my screen.
Internet Explorer.
Yeah.
11.0.
Yeah.
Something.
Does
but-
anyone use Internet Explorer for anything other than
Internet
downloading
Explorer
another
got-
browser?
Got killed.
Um,
It's been replaced by Microsoft Edge.
yeah.
Man,
So
I'll tell you this, at work up until about 3 years ago, there was a web-based application for all of our legal contracts, and the only way that fucking thing would work was in IE, and they finally updated it to Chrome. So up until about 2022, we were using IE just for that. It's insane.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I do still have to use Internet Explorer at work, and not the new thing. I do mean legitimate Internet Explorer.
Wow.
Well, you're
Yeah,
not as
we do
cool as
too.
somebody who uses Edge. That just sounds like a 90s like attempt to be cool by a company. Like putting
It
X in
sound-
front of something whenever they're like, it's cool, bros.
Dude, Microsoft Edge has the most unfortunate name given how the vernacular of the kids is going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. It's
Mhm.
just where everyone will go for porn.
It's just like Corona beer and Corona garden tools. That's just unfortunate, man.
Just picturing like Steve Ballmer coming out being like, "Hey, what's up, my edgers? All right,
No.
let's do it."
Well, you know, the wrestler changed his name to Cope. His last name is Copeland. So now in AEW, he's Cope. And
Oh,
that's, I don't know, kind of a weird name to be a wrestler, in my
Cope
opinion.
and seethe.
Hope. Yeah, like, well, that they have to change their names when they go to different promotions, right?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking to a guy whose favorite game series is Ratchet and Clank, and so whenever I was going to college, Ratchet was the cool new phrase to say like a stanky ass hoe or something. I don't know, but
Ghetto
every
bitch.
time I would bring it up, people would just assume I was making a joke. I'm like, no, they're like really good games. So like, oh,
They're really good
Ratchet,
video games,
I get
man.
it, guys.
Yeah. While this
like,
John
shut
guy
up.
really hates trashy black women, doesn't he?
I guess.
Hey,
well, so I
Hey,
really like
Speaking
the
of
game
Riri
series,
Williams,
too.
Hey, let's not forget there is some equality there. There's trashy white women.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
100%.
them.
There's a lot of
lot of
trashy
them.
white women. There's a lot of trashy women. There's a lot of trashy guys. You know,
A lot
the full
of trashy
spectrum
people.
out there. Some people would
Speaking of
consider me-
technology, I love how Sleazy has a DeWalt drill on his shelf. That's freaking sick.
Oh,
I had to put
you're
that
gonna
up.
burn that motor
That's
up
awesome.
in half a year.
I burn
Dude,
those
I've
up
had
and I
that
buy
thing.
them after 3 years. Best
Ooh,
drill
look
you
at
can
me.
buy.
I'm a handyman. Ooh.
I've had it for 12 years.
Awesome.
Oh, you've got one of the old ones.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm about to geek out over power tools. I work in a hardware
Yeah.
store. What can I do?
I used to use that on construction sites all the time when we were running conduit.
Nice.
Drill through fucking metal, anything. It hasn't died, so I've been like, fucking
Oh yeah,
works. I'm not getting rid of it.
I like the whole DeWalt Milwaukee fight because I have Milwaukee tools, so it's fun to just jump in on to sling shit. But once you get to that point, it's really sixes between the tools, and as long as you take care of them, they last forever. The new brushless motors they've got in them are fucking incredible. I've
This
got it in my
discussion is
circuit.
reminding me that King of the Hill reboot came out because all
Yes.
I can think of is Hank Hill talking
You
like
gotta
this.
have a
man,
power tool
you-
stream.
Hey, if
sometime.
you need to hook up 2 different propane grills off of your camper, I fucking got you. I've done it before.
Bro, I can't. They're really doing. They're moving forward that King in the Hill remake or
It's
whatever.
gonna be
like,
terrible.
is it a reboot or is it a continuation? Does anybody know?
I think it's a reboot.
See, I think I saw a clip from it. They're like, I think it's on Hulu. It's gonna come out. That
Something
they were
like
putting
that.
out, and it looked like Bobby was older. The animation looked really like it was like a Flash cartoon made by some YouTuber or something. Like it looked really cheap on the end. I mean, the old one looked cheap too, but I don't know. It was a little bit different. I don't know, sort of like fake looking. I don't know how to describe it, but the voice acting was still good.
It seemed pretty good.
Mhm.
Didn't Dave Filoni work on King of the Hill like really early in his career?
Oh my god. If
If
he
he did, it was
what
probably
He wrote
at a
all the
really low
Ladybird
level
parts.
in the
Yeah,
animated
he
department.
like back end production or some shit.
Yeah, I'm not. He wasn't the showrunner or anything for
Well,
it.
no. That's
Dave
not
was
what
just
we're
in the
saying, but
background,
yeah.
like, we should put in more Ladybird theme. Come on, let
we have
that
a
Hank
wolf
pet
character?
Ladybird more.
Yeah,
you, Hank Hill. I will not heal your wife the way I heal the others' wives.
yeah. He might have been like a storyboard artist or something. You know what I mean? Like
I can see that,
helping out with like things like that. But yeah,
Dave, why do you keep
for me,
turning
that
all the
fucking
characters
keyed
into
in, I'm
wolves?
pretty sure that was the case.
We need you to draw them as humans, Dave, as humans in the storyboards. Oh, sorry.
Bobby's just a little fucking wolf. And everything. Like who the fuck
Bob-
is this guy?
Bobby turns out a little extra fruity.
That would not be a surprise. Steel leg of history. So proud of you, Ryan. Be blessed. Just hit 696 subs. 4 more subs needed for Steel leg of history to hit that 700. Thank you,
Awesome.
Steel leg. Hope you get there, man. Keep grinding. You're always putting stuff out, man. Also, Gabriel Knight just popped in. What's up, Gabriel?
Not a whole lot. I forgot all about today.
I think a lot of us may have. They sneak up on you. I was just saying that it kind of skipped my mind on like Thursday or Friday when I was planning my weekend out. So I was gonna go see F1 today, in between Sports Wars and my stream. And then it was, well, we're doing this instead. So I got to see F1 tomorrow. I've heard really good things about it. And I've been excited to see the movie for a while.
I actually just watched Ford versus Ferrari for the first time the other day.
Oh, great movie.
That's a good
Great
Fucking
movie.
great movie. Fucking great movie.
James
But-
Mangold.
Yeah, my little brother and my dad are, well, my little brother's super into planes and cars. War Thunder forums when you get a hold of him, because he will find his way there. Please take care of him. Anyway,
Speaking of Sports Wars, I wanted to get your thoughts. I don't think you talked about it on Sports Wars about the Cattell Marte incident with the mother joke. Did you
What?
guys talk about that?
We actually did talk about it a little bit later, and I think who is it? Drakenwolf in the chat. Drakenwolf was talking. He's in this chat. He was in Sports Wars.
Yeah.
He's laughing because we did talk about that a little bit. Yeah. So to set this up, Cattell Marte, Arizona Diamondbacks. He's been with the D-backs for forever now. He like had a breakdown on the field a couple days ago. Where he was kind of crying, you know, other people were consoling him and stuff. He didn't really know exactly what went down. Like, was somebody on the team injured? Like, what exactly happened? As it turns out, his mother passed away in a car accident a couple years ago, and somebody in the stands like was making a joke about his mother, and really got to him. And it was like, oh, awful. The story's going viral and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out that it was just a very it wasn't like a joke from this guy, like about his mother being dead or knowing that it was just like a very generic, hey, your mom texted me last night, like, type of thing. and so like, I think the entire thing got blown way out of proportion. The guy's now banned from every MLB stadium.
what?
I mean,
Yeah.
listen, I'm gonna speak from experience now. My mother passed a couple of years ago, and I've had a lot of jokes. And you know, I'm sorry to this player, but man up, stop being a pussy. She's dead. You can't change it. She's not gonna get hurt, right?
Hell, people
Nope.
still say Jordan got friggin'
Listen, I've heard a lot of these jokes, you know, about my mother, and I always laugh, say, well, I don't hope so because we did bury her, so I hope she's dead. And they just like they stop up for a short second to see that I'm laughing, and then they laugh themselves. I mean, move on.
Well, the question
It's a
is,
part of life. If a grown man is affected by this that much, 2 years after, there's something else that's another problem.
well, the question is, did the fan know about the circumstances there, right? If he did, yeah, that guy's kind of an asshole. And it goes beyond being banned. There are like horrible people calling for his cancellation. Can't wait till he's doxxed. Let's dox him. I mean, thousands of comments.
That's just idiotic. That's
That's
so
what society's
Wow.
like in America now. When, oh, look, this is a bad person. I'm going to be on the good guy squad and get him back for what he did wrong. It's disgusting. Like,
It's
maybe he
dis-
knew, maybe he didn't. Ban him and move on.
Yeah, it's disgusting behavior, but like that behavior is entirely centralized to Twitter and the internet. The only people you see in real life doing that shit don't go out and do anything unless they're paid to.
Yeah,
Right?
that's fair. Yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
it happens
Like,
at work with HR departments and shit like that. You know, you
yeah,
make
that's a
bad
different
jokes in
aspect
front
of it.
someone
This
and
specific
they go and
thing.
tell on you.
Yeah, but even still, it's one thing if you're just doing what he like. If he didn't know, that's fucked, right? But it's one thing to be on the internet. You can take care of that. Just be like, hey, look, just go to your boss the next day. Be like, hey, look, here's what happened. People are being crazy, right? I made a mistake. Obviously, it's not going to happen again, and just move on. Right, especially if you're a decent human being, people don't care.
Yeah, and I don't blame Cattell Marte for the entire thing. I don't
No.
think he's the one that's like, you know, asking every MLB team
Right.
to ban this guy. He
Totally
got
agree.
overwhelmed. Now the thing is, this happened 8 years ago. His mom died in a car accident like 2017.
Yeah.
And to me, from what we know from him, from what was said, I do not think he had any idea. The reference specifically was, hey, your mom texted me last night, right? If he was trying to troll him over his mom being dead or something, he'd be like, hey, I bet your mom doesn't miss you. Like, he would say something in reference
Your
to
mom
you.
texted me from hell,
this was
you know, or something
yeah.
like that.
This was a
And
generic
so-
your mama joke where somebody tried to be edgy. That's just it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
You would do something like your mom's 6 feet under, but I can make her 6.5 feet.
I'm also not a fan
You know,
of the.
do something fucked up.
Yeah.
Yes, like there are very fucked up things that you could say if you wanted to like pick at that wound or pick at that scab. And to me,
Yeah.
the guy's just getting way too much heat for what is just a general offhanded comment that somebody took very sensitively.
I'm not a fan of the 0 to 100 punishment either. Like, be like, hey, dude, you're banned from our stadium for the rest of the season. Like, you know, maybe that, like, just to be banned from every MLB stadium for all, like, that's a little bit extreme to me. I feel like, I don't know. I'm guessing it's the first time that he's ever had this sort of thing happen. So,
well, I
maybe
mean,
something.
this guy
look,
probably
like-
does deserve every bad thing that happens to him. He's a White Sox fan, so like,
Yeah.
what an absolute
Fuck
We
weird
can all
record,
agree on
but-
that.
Yeah, but
you know
Ryan,
what?
the people in the Twitter replies are saying the bad thing should happen to him because he's a white fan.
Oh
Get
yeah,
the
yeah.
Sox out of it. So
You know, these people should try and come to a game in Europe in one of the higher leagues, basketball, whatever it is. They are going to get a heart attack. You think this is bad? This is nothing in Europe. Go to the Balkans when a Serbian team plays a Greek team. That's war. That's literal fucking war. This is your friend. American sports fans, they're so fucking weak and frail.
Well,
Jesus.
and
Well,
to
look,
highlight,
that's because in general, our lives are so fucking good. We have no real problems. So these are the types of things. When your life is
Yeah.
amazing as it is here in America, these are the types of things you get to worry about on an everyday basis.
Yeah,
Not like you
yeah.
fucking poor fucks over there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a generational difference, though. Like, I imagine that Michael Jordan probably got a lot from 95 to 98 after his dad died. Probably a lot of fans heckling him because there were all those
Oh, yeah.
conspiracies about how he got him killed with his gambling and everything like that. And I'm sure that there were a lot of fans that yelled shit like that on the road. And you know what his response probably was? Like, all right, I'm going to go out and score 10 more points than I was planning on scoring now, and I'm going to beat your
Yeah.
team even worse.
I'll give
Just
you an
and then I'm going to go
example.
fuck you at the end of the game to you.
I'll give
I
you a
wanted
quick
to-
example. I'll give you a quick example to do in Europe. About 15 years ago, there's a team called Red Star Zagreb. It's Red Star Belgrade. Again, this is Balkan. They're really, really into their sports. Their team lost against their local rival in Belgrade, and they hate each other on a level it's unimaginable. Next day, when the team came to their training grounds, they had the fans, the ultras had dug 9 graves, on their fucking training field. Do you know who got
Holy
to
shit.
do you know who got to fill in those graves? The fucking players did. Oh no,
Jesus.
he had an Etsy joke. Fuck off.
That's a big reason I hate
was-
LeBron. It seems like, I mean, I'm not saying it didn't happen before LeBron, but it seemed like it became a real common occurrence when LeBron James started taking issue with the fans.
Oh, dude, he did it to Steve. I don't like really Stephen A. at all, but like this past season, whenever his son was getting made fun of for sucking, and he has to run up into the stands and confront Stephen A. Like, hey, bro, don't sports commentate on my son who's a sports player. It's like,
Fuck
It was
you,
a bigger,
LeBron.
it was a bigger problem for me, and you're right because a lot of that did start with like several years ago. I think it was in Atlanta, and there was some rich hoe who was sitting like courtside. And she called LeBron a bitch, basically, and he got her thrown out of the game for that.
Yeah.
Which is
Probably
wild.
called him bald, and he was
Proving her
like,
right,
"Shut
by the
up."
way. Proving her right, by the way.
Yeah. I just
I-
love my favorite clip of all the, the NBA Live or anything is just Charles Barkley, a montage of him making fun of LeBron's hairline.
Those are pretty great.
He just keeps moving his headband back. He's like, LeBron, come on home. Give it up, man.
Taking
Speaking
it back
as
to
a
the
bald
MLB, yeah. Taking it back to the MLB, we were talking about with the guy getting banned from every park and the 0 to 100 punishment. That's been a pattern of behavior in, well, as we showed, most sports leagues as of late. Like, look at Trevor Bauer. He was cleared on everything. Everything. And one of the gals who levied false allegations against him is facing federal prison for fraud.
Yeah.
And the other one owes him like $300,000 for violating the contract, violating the settlement agreement to not talk about it.
And Trevor Bauer's still not in the MLB.
Yeah,
Now,
he's
I
over.
do-
He's. I wouldn't say he's struggling in Japan.
He's not
He's
lights
just not
out.
having a lights out season like he did last year in Mexico.
Yeah, well, he's playing in a better league. And
Yeah.
the thing is,
Well, different league.
the thing
would-
is with Trevor Bauer, and I've talked about this a lot on Sports Wars. And it kind of goes the same. Look, this goes for the entertainment industry, for sports, for whatever. There are some people that have problems that cause drama, that like whatever. If your talent supersedes those problems, people will take a chance on you, right? But with Trevor Bauer, it's not just that. With Trevor Bauer, it is his relationship with his teammates and coaches, his angstiness with the MLB, and specifically surrounding the spider tax situation. There are like a lot of other things. And I would argue that one of the reasons Trevor Bauer got that big contract he did was after talking about spider tack. And suddenly the very same things he alleged a bunch of other people like Garrett Cole's spin rate numbers and all these other people's numbers going up, all of a sudden his numbers went up too after he was finally fed up and used spider tack as well. So that's where I look at where I think it's more than just the allegations against
absolutely.
But 100% in a league where you can choke out your wife and come back in 60 games, a league where all these other things happen, 100% there should be nothing blocking him from coming back.
No, he's kind of been blackballed by the league because nobody wants to give him a contract. I mean, hell, I watched 3 of his teammates get signed to the MLB from Mexico following last season. Right? One of them signed with the Yankees. But I will disagree with you. I don't think he's a locker room problem. I don't think so. Watching the videos in Mexico, because Mexico allowed him to have a camera in the locker room at all fucking times. Locker room, dugout, whatever he was doing. The MLB makes it a lot more difficult, and so does Japan. No, the Yankees couldn't use Bauer. Whoever said that's dumb.
You can look at those things that have happened since he's been out, but you can also look at everything that happened while he was in. He had a lot of problems with teammates and coaches while he was in before he got in any trouble. And maybe he's, and I think his YouTube channel was a way to like try to show some of that and show that he's changing in things.
Yes, I will give you that. I feel like he has matured a lot as a person.
Yeah.
Right? Like the throwing the ball over center field after getting pulled while he was playing for the Indians. That was stupid, right? Kind of childish.
Cool, but it was stupid.
Great arm, but that's childish, right?
Yeah. Well, to show the difference in like how people are punished, I remember 2010, or it might have been 2009, but whenever the James Harrison had the article come out where he said that he wouldn't piss on Roger Goodell to put him out if he was on fire. And I don't believe that he got a suspension for that.
Well,
he had gotten suspensions before, and that's why he was so pissed at Goodell. And the Steelers came very close to winning a Super Bowl that year, and it would have been the funniest fucking thing ever if Goodell would have had to hand James Harrison the trophy and just piss his pants probably while he was doing it, just to be close to that man.
There's probably a lot of people that would agree with him.
Oh my gosh. And I just remember I'm like, well, he didn't get suspended for that. I mean, it was obviously like a Sports Illustrated article or something, so it'd be seen as like, oh, media silence or whatever if he did that. But yeah.
But that is a lot of sports talk over here on RK Outpost Live, which we don't normally do.
An odd segue we had there.
That's right. I know Sleazy was totally into that conversation.
Huh? What?
Yeah. Well, let's go into something that I know, regardless of, because some people may have seen Ironheart, some people may have not. Everyone in some way, shape, or form has seen some promotional material for James Gunn's Superman, which is up and coming. That is 2 weeks away, basically, a week and a half at this point, really. So it's about to be here, one way or the other. And I kind of wanted to get you guys feel for what you feel about the marketing, if you're excited for it or not. I see a lot of very divided opinions surrounding it. I think in kind of this general space, a lot of it is negative. However, like overall, I've seen a lot of positivity from some people. How do you guys feel about it? Is anybody excited to see it or just dreading it?
I think a lot of people have gotten used to the darker theme of Henry Cavill's Superman. And now we're back to, I don't know, for those who are a little bit older, we watched Superman and Lewis in the 90s with Dean Cain, which was very, very, it was basically almost slapstick. It was a fun show. And then here comes Henry Cavill. It's really, really dark. It's really, really serious. And now we're back to, a little bit more loose and a little bit more funny. And I don't think people are into it right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Mr. J on this one. I saw the first trailer and I was like, this might actually be good, and then it keeps coming out more and more, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, basically.
Like everything else, I think it looks cheap. Just everything that comes out, I'd say since COVID looks cheap as hell, right? And then the occasional television show, streaming show will look really good, and you're like, why can't they all do that, right? I think it looks laughable. To your point, the more that comes out, the less I want to see it. I wasn't going to see it anyway. I don't like the choice for Superman, Lois, and just some of the jokes that they've shown. It's like, it's just not Superman to me. And here's the thing. You get a lot of people that are reflexively not liking it because they're Snyder fans, right? And they're just going to automatically hate it. It's like, okay, that's fine, but there are legitimate reasons not to like from what we've seen so far, guys. And it just looks bad. I mean, maybe it has a good story, but I doubt it. How many times can you tell the story of Lex Luthor and Superman? Like, let's get something different. Oh, we'll throw in the occasional new villain that we haven't seen before, and I think they've done this time. But I just have no interest. I think it's going to bomb.
To be fair, every Lex Luthor since Gene Hackman has been shit, to say the least. I mean,
Clancy Brown, sir, how dare you? Live action, I'll give you.
Clancy Brown's a great Lex Luthor voice.
Yeah.
Justice League and Justice League Unlimited is what it's about.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And Superman animated. Yeah.
Sure. But when it comes to movies, they've just not been, there's just a bit any good.
I wish we had gotten to see more, I guess, or maybe a different movie or whatever. Kevin Spacey is Lex Luthor.
He fits.
Yeah.
I think that if that had been given time, or maybe in a different movie, I think he could have played Lex Luthor very well.
Yeah.
I think for this one, he could have gone full meta and just had Henry Cavill shave his head and be Lex Luthor. Just shit on Superman.
It's tough for me. So the way I feel about the trailer is the movie itself looks very meh to me. That's what I get out of all the marketing. Nothing that's really exciting me. Now, I also see there's a ton of people that fucking hate everything they see about this movie. I don't necessarily feel that way. I certainly think there's room to criticize the way it's been marketed. Yeah. Like with the scene that we just had the other day with Superman crashing into Lex's office and screaming because he kidnapped Crypto or whatever the fuck happened. There's a way that sequence in context, I might be totally fine with it. But when you have so little dialogue of Superman in your promotion, where you've got a lot of images and him flying and him fighting and him saving someone, but in terms of dialogue, that's like the most extensive dialogue we've heard, other than his conversation with Lois, where he's like losing his cool and screaming at her too. So that becomes a concern when that's what you have to go off. Do I think that's going to be Superman through this whole fucking movie? No, I don't think so. I certainly fucking hope not. But it does, it gives people a reason to question what's going on when that's what you're putting out there.
I think the problem is James Gunn was just not the right person to do this movie. He only knows how to do one thing, and that's James Gunn type movies like Guardians of the Galaxy or like gross like horror like Slither and like from his days at Trauma. He's not the right guy for Superman, unfortunately.
I don't have any faith that James Gunn can pull it off.
No.
I would love to be very surprised and walk in there and have a movie that I absolutely love, a great Superman movie. I'm not expecting it. That would be fucking cool. But I don't know. And I'm curious as to what it's going to do. And James Gunn's able to make, $800 million movies off Guardians of the Galaxy. in the context of the MCU and that entire machine at that point, all of these things. What will he do with Superman? What will this number be? And if it's,
to be fair, we might be surprised.
yeah,
We might come out of the movie theater and think, that was better than I actually expected.
Yeah, it could just be a bad marketing.
But they
team.
haven't shown.
I mean,
But they haven't given us any reason to think otherwise from the material that we've been given.
yeah, like I don't know. I do always go back to the animated ones. It's like I think they should just blatantly rip those off, please, at this point,
Agreed.
because I felt that way all through Snyder, especially when Batman and Superman met. I'm like, I remember as a kid that friggin' World's Finest 3-parter episode where Batman meets Superman. It was the coolest thing ever. It involved Lex and the Joker. They integrated both characters. They were distinctly different. They both had a little bit of a fun edge to them. They both had, Batman was obviously darker and everything. Like for some reason, those writers could work humor in and keep it somewhat lighthearted while still having incredibly high feeling stakes, and having this characters still come off as serious themselves. They had jokes, but the characters never came off as unserious.
right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Your characters don't throw millennial humor in every other scene?
Like
How
Harley
does your
Quinn.
movie even make money?
One of my favorite parts is this plane explodes. They think Joker's on it. Harley Quinn's parachuting down with Batman. She's like, Puddin'. He's like, at this point, he probably is. It's like, oh damn, Batman, you're savage as fuck.
Damn,
making fun of her recently dead boyfriend. Great.
And I see Louise says, "I'll wait and watch before I judge."
Yeah,
and
best policy.
Well, agreed. However, I think we would be remiss if I didn't say the purpose of trailers and the purpose of marketing, the purpose of all these interviews. It is to convince you that this is worth your time. So the purpose of people putting trailers out is quite literally for you to judge it. Now, that doesn't mean that just because you like a trailer, because you like this, that you'll like the movie. And it also can be the inverse, right? If you don't like something, you can be surprised, like with what you get in the theater, pleasantly so sometimes. But the purpose of marketing material is quite literally for us to judge it and make the decision whether to give it our time of day or not. So
yeah, and there's a fine line there too, Ryan, because you guys know I'm a fan of real Star Wars in general, the original trilogy, prequels, but the Phantom Menace trailer, right? That movie probably did too good of a job because people went in and a lot of people were disappointed because really the movie itself doesn't necessarily reflect what was in that first trailer, which was awesome. I was happy with it. I was fine with the movie, but I could understand why a lot of people said, whoa, truth in advertising here, right? So there's doing what they're doing here with Superman, only showing this stuff. If there's other stuff of Superman not freaking out on Lois, then why not show that, right? But don't show something that the movie's not, right? Don't make it necessarily look better than it is. Like, have it be truthful. So it's kind of a thin line there that you got to walk when you create these trailers.
Yeah, but all of it is for purposes of so we can judge it. Doesn't mean we're judging the movie as a whole. Just means what we see from it so far.
Yes.
But Tim, I know you got to go, right?
Yeah. I think my wife's home with our lunch. So yeah, guys, enjoy the rest of the stream. And Ryan, 6 years in, thanks for continuing to do these streams. It's freaking awesome. So hey, I'll catch up with you guys later in the summer. Have a great one. See ya.
All right. Sounds good, man. See you later.
Have a good one.
Go and go check out United Spacers Alliance. Thanks to Tim for sitting down and joining us. Bro, I remember when Phantom Menace was coming out. I was 11 years old or whatever. So I was
20, and the hype in Denmark was unfucking real, and I can't even imagine how it was in the United States. Here, everything talked about it. It was in the radio, it was on the news, it was in all the newspapers, gaming magazines, moving magazines. It was fucking everywhere, right?
So did you watch the like a dubbed version or like the original version whenever it came out there?
Why would we watch anything dubbed?
I don't know. Some people don't know the English.
No, but the Germans used to dub. They used to be the world champions in dubbing. They were fucking glorious at it. But nobody, Denmark never dubbed. We have subtitles on for those, but we do learn English from third grade here in Denmark. So When these movies hit and you're like 15, 16 years old, you are probably mostly proficient in English and don't need subtitles anymore.
Yeah, no, I had
As
an
you
Italian
should
roommate,
be,
and he
you
would
vassal
always.
state of the U.S.
I had an Italian roommate in college, and he would always talk about he really liked the Italian dubs for a lot of movies. Like we watched
Yeah.
Django Unchained, and he was watching it for the first time in like English, so that's why I was wondering. But yeah,
Not many countries dub anymore.
You know what's funny? Like I was thinking about Phantom Menace and the marketing for Phantom Menace just the other day, and it's because Star Wars and Coke released this big kind of promotional crossover thing in July. I don't know exactly what for. It's not like there's anything coming out. They just so happen to be doing it.
Ahsoka.
All these different Coke cans with different characters on them. And all I could think of when I saw this was how fucking gay this looks compared to the Pepsi one. Does anybody remember that from back in the day when Phantom Menace was getting ready to come out, and on every single Pepsi product they had different fucking Star Wars characters?
Ooh.
I vaguely remember that. I don't remember what they look like.
No, I was 7, and we were a Coke family, so I wouldn't know.
Well, now I gotta find him to show you guys.
I noticed there's no Ray on those Coke cans.
What?
Yeah, well, there's barely.
I did the same. I just did the same.
I do remember this because I got the fucking Watto one. It was pissed because I always wanted the Palpatine one.
Because you're an
Mountain-
anti-Semite, we know. No.
Pepsi did it, and Mountain Dew did something too.
It was
Green light on John Getz. Green light on John Getz.
Oh, Massad just got the call. You're done. This
Remember
is
the Taco Bell tie-in, like with the Pogs or whatever, like on the drink, like you collected, like, I don't know, the set album and you won something. It was kind of like the Monopoly promotion that McDonald's had.
Bro, I used to love McDonald's Monopoly. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I used to gorge myself for McDonald's Monopoly. So here's the Pepsi ones. So these were released in the lead up to the release of Phantom Menace, and they had, character descriptions on them. I vividly remember the Obi-Wan Kenobi Mountain Dew one. But yeah, dude. And this is before we really knew too much about them.
I got Captain Panaka, loser. Oh, he's barely in the movie. I got Newt Gunray.
Bro.
This is what marketing used to be. It used to be hype for everything. Now it's like you get a trailer and you're just waiting to find out if they're gonna take a dump all over it or
Used
not.
to put in toys in the meals. Yeah.
Thanks to the internet, everything is oversaturated today. You get it's just too much. It's everywhere.
I do remember one of the last great ones I remember is whenever the first Hobbit movie came out, and Denny's had all this cool Hobbit food, and I got like everything on the menu that was fucking Hobbit themed. I was like, that stuff was good as shit.
Give me a whole block of cheese.
Yeah.
See, I was not old enough to collect that type of shit. I do have the Valentine's Day Revenge of the Sith poster though.
That's cool.
The one with Darth Vader on it that says "Who's your daddy?"
So this, I remember fucking being really mad because my mom threw like all the ones that I'd collected away because it's basically they were empty cans.
Yeah.
That I had probably some of them washed out not super well, and she was worried about ants and all that shit. And they were just sitting on my headboard. But
Ryan's like, Mom, my Chancellor Valorum can. How could you?
How could you? Mom!
Bro, even the destroyer droid gets a fucking can. Look at that.
Mom, you have disappointed me for the last time.
Everybody got a fucking can, dude.
I know,
Right?
I'm looking at the most
I actually
minor
don't think
characters.
we had those here in Denmark. I can't really remember those.
Yeah, because you're not cool.
Sure we are. We got Lego.
The Watto can.
Right.
I would just like the idea of like Massage showing like a clip of Watto and just being like, "What do you think of this character?" As like a, it's like a, and then they show like the Gringotts people from Harry Potter, like, "What do you think of these characters?" I like them.
Uh-huh.
Be honest, they wouldn't show Watto. They show the Trade Federation. Come on now.
Well, they were supposed to be Japanese or whatever.
Yeah, they were all got
Banking
they were supposed to be Asians. Yeah.
I just remember they changed the voice in the third movie to just make them sound really old because they probably got a bunch of complaints from people calling them racist. Where he's like, "Fire all batteries, fire!"
Well, yeah, but Newt Gunray's still in that one. He still talks the
Oh
same.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're supposed to have peace. Oh.
Exactly. Biggles, since he still can't get the thing to work, he said it looks like dog shit. I think he's referencing Superman and not
Yes, that's when that chat
amazing
came in.
Pepsi cans.
I don't know. He does have some pretty bad takes. It might be the Pepsi.
He does. It is Biggles we're talking about here, but no, I will defend him. I saw when that chat came in.
Yeah.
But that's what just it reminded me of that because the Coke ones just look so
Generic.
and plain, and also like what is there to be excited about when it comes to these characters? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like let's see if we can. It's funny because there's barely any Disney Star Wars characters there, to be honest. Like Maul,
got-
Ahsoka, Jesus, Kylo Ren makes the cut. Palpatine, Anakin, Vader, Leia, Yoda.
Is that Palpatine? Because it kind of looks like Yoda in a hood.
Yeah, but
No,
right?
that's
Yeah,
not
it looks
Dark
like-
Yoda.
Hold on. Yeah.
But look at this. Looks like shit too. This Chewie,
Hold
like
on,
some of
I've
these
gotta-
just look like
I'm gonna
absolute
pop this
shit.
over to my main screen. Look
Hmm.
at this and
Like some of the art looks terrible.
Also, they don't bother to change the colors a lot, so it just makes them all seem like they're being portrayed as
I
Sith
was-
or something.
I was thinking exactly the same. Why not make a special color for the dark side and another color for the light side, and have a 2-color theme?
Yeah, it just
I
kind of has like an
require work
evil
and
vibe.
thought.
I mean, they got a pretty big, PR department in Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
They should be able to come up with something, shouldn't they?
Yeah, they spend billions on marketing just to not even think about that.
yeah,
us-
but how much? So here's my thing: how much of this is Coke's creative input, and how much of this is Disney's? Because this just reeks of Disney input.
I mean,
Who knows? Yeah, I don't know who gets like the. I'm sure
Or-
like both sides have to agree on something, but who's,
Right,
like, idea
or
was
like
all this, I
did
don't
Coke
know.
demand that they don't change the colors?
I don't
right?
think Coca-Cola lets themselves be dictated around by Disney.
Disney Coke is probably like, yeah, give us some money. We're gonna put the absolute minimal effort. Photoshop some people's faces
Yeah.
onto
Right.
those cans.
It-
Come on.
Should have been that, right? That's what. Yeah.
It's just so weird that they're doing this in a random July.
I
There's
don't get
nothing
it.
coming
Yeah.
out. I don't get it.
What
So
month is July
is that,
supposed to be?
Is that Mando and Baby Yoda? I know he's got a name, but I forgot.
Grogu? How could you forget the iconic
Because,
Grogu?
dude, I stopped watching Mando after season 2. I was watch partying that show with my brother. We're like, holy shit, a bounty hunter Star Wars show. This is badass.
And
Right?
it was.
It was like the first season was
Hmm.
awesome.
I
This-
think the first season was okay. I think it
Look,
had some.
I
I
don't
think
know
it had
as
a good
much about
premise.
lore.
Look, if the entire show had been like the first episode,
yes,
I
I have said that since the beginning.
I think you could have had a really cool show.
It's just Mando hunting bounties. The overarching storyline can come later. Make sure the episodic is good. Get that formula like old school cartoons. Trust me, it works. We are simple fucking creatures.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the complaints I see about F1 is like, oh, well, it's a little too many like normal sports movie tropes. I'm like, I do get complaining sometimes about something being too predictable or I've seen this before or whatever. However, tropes are tropes for a reason because they've
Mhm.
been done over and over again. The reason they've been done over and over again is because, you know,
They work.
they work typically. Now we're seeing a lot of people doing things over and over again in Hollywood that aren't working, but they're still doing it over and over again. Just because you see it happen multiple times doesn't mean it works. However,
Well,
a
they've
lot of
been-
old like storytelling fallbacks that people are used to seeing, they're comfortable with, and they like. And that's why a movie like Top Gun Maverick, which isn't
Mhm.
necessarily revolutionary or some, oh my gosh, I've never ever seen this idea or concept in a movie before, right? But it gets worked together in a right way, in a way that does keep you excited and invested and with characters that you care
Well-
about, and you walk away with something good. And that's why I've
Top
heard a
Gun-
lot about
Top
F1.
Gun Maverick had something else going for it. You had the actor, Tom Cruise, who showed respect to the customer. Said, "Okay, we're in the middle of COVID here. I'm gonna keep this buried until we're gonna get in the movie theater because this is where I think you should go in and enjoy it. And I'm making this movie for you. Now, that doesn't make it a great movie, but it might get 10 or 15% more people in because they think, oh, you know, he's nice, he's respectful. You know, let's go see what this movie is all about. Instead of you have some Rachel Zegler type that when she opens her mouth, he just hears cancer, and it might be the best movie in the world, and you just say thinking, hell no, I'm not going in. You know.
Well, as far as tropes go, too, it's like I feel like people are kind of anxious to say like this is the exact same as this other thing just because they share one similar aspect and they just dismiss it entirely. And it sometimes gets to a ridiculous degree. Like, and I saw this. Of course, I'll find a way to worm this in. Most prevalently with fucking Astrobot whenever it came out. Whenever people were like, it has coins and jumping. It's just like Mario. I'm just like, what? I've played both of those games. They're absolutely like almost nothing similar other than the genre that they're in.
I mean, how many new ideas can you come up with, right?
Like, yes, it involves a lot of jumping, and you can kill things by jumping on them, I guess. But like the actual level, it's the same thing with like Top Gun. Like the actual plot and a lot of the characters are very different than a lot of previous things that it was said to be tropey of. It's like there's so much like sharing a few bullet points does not make you an exact copy. It's so weird.
I mean, most teenage movies today are still the same as they were 40 years ago, 50 years ago, because it is a formula that works, and you tweak it a little bit here, you modernize it a little bit here, you make it fit into you know the 70s or the 80s and 90s or you know the 20s today, whatever. But it's like Ed Sheeran, the musician who you know was sued for plagiarism music, and he just said basically I can play every song on the planet with 4 key notes, and he proved it and was you know. Declared innocent. And the same with movies. There is a certain amount of tropes in these movies, certain amounts of things that needs to be in the movies, the love story, the arch enemy, and yada yada yada, because that works. And it's been that's their experience of 80 years, 90 years of movie making. It works. That's why they keep putting it in.
Well,
yeah, but it's not about movie making anymore. It's about sending a message.
Yes, and that's why they fail now. That's why they fail now.
Propagandized.
Yeah.
To believe that what they're doing is the trope. And it's like, well, I mean, you'll find out the hard way. We've been trying to tell you.
Well, I mean,
there's some of us that care more about money than what the hell you're saying.
Well,
I just want to see shit make money.
We've certainly seen a trope used in comic books and in now comic book movies for the past decade plus that hasn't always worked out. Hey, let's replace a legacy character with a young minority female upstart who's smarter and better than everybody, but just don't get no damn respect. And instead of having a character arc that you go through where a flawed individual doesn't succeed, and they have to acknowledge this flaw and either find a way around it or work better or change themselves or like whatever it might be. Instead, their character arc is actually just, well, finally everybody recognized that I'm amazing. And we're in the middle of one of those right now with Ironheart. First 3 episodes of Ironheart dropped on Tuesday. The last 3 episodes drop next Tuesday. And I mean, for one, it was my most highly anticipated project of the year. I'm not going to lie. I was very excited for Ironheart, and it has not disappointed me yet because I expected a disaster, and that's exactly what we're getting. I would imagine not too many people on the panel watched it, right?
I didn't even know it came out. I knew it was going to be a thing.
I watched the trailer, and I'm just like, no. Life is too short. I'm going to get angry. No.
I'm far past anger at this point. Now it's at the point where you just laugh at it. If it were like 2020 and I was like still caring,
it's the worst thing. It's the worst thing Marvel has ever made, and that says a lot. I mean, it's the worst thing by far that they have ever made, and I can understand why they kept it hidden away for what is it now, 3 years, 2 years, how long ever, and that they have made reshoots and whatever, and made changed things.
Oh man,
why not listen? Write it off. That's what you should have done. Just destroy it, write it off, get rid of it.
I forgot that they had delayed it so long. Imagine if they had released this like right after Tony Stark had died. That would have been even worse backlash, I feel like.
They announced it in 2021. They filmed it in 2022. and here it is. It was originally supposed to release about 2 years ago. They thought it was a pile of shit. They tried to re-edit it a bunch. They tried to
They
fix it.
were right.
No fixing it. I'll have to wait for it to end for me to say whether I think this is the worst Marvel thing. I do think that it is the most, and this is like a very kind of subjective thing. It's the most annoying Marvel thing I've seen in terms of all of the fucking characters are just insufferable. The way that they speak to each other, like all that stuff. Now, obviously, me saying that that's going to be very different than maybe somebody else watching it. So it's subjective. However, I think I probably make up the type of core audience that would tune into something Marvel. So they're probably going to be annoyed by it as well. It is fucking rough.
And I
Saw that
don't
clip
believe
where she's talking about like, oh, I'm going to be bigger than Bill Gates and Tony Stark. I was like, oh my god, that was like the cringiest thing I've ever seen out of Marvel, easily.
That's how the series starts. That is the first 15 seconds of the series. Is her taking a video, her and her friend taking a video. It's like, it's your girl Riri. I'm gonna be better than all of them. I'm gonna be bigger than Gates, bigger than Stark, bigger than Pym, right? Bigger than everybody, right?
She
Like,
said Fina though, didn't she? She didn't say gonna. I was just like, oh.
she did say, "I'm finna be better than." Yeah.
Oh,
But Ryan,
mean-
it takes place in Chicago. Aren't you proud to have your city represented?
Bruh, not that part of Chicago. It's
mean,
not my city. I never lived in Chicago, but
I don't think the people who made this show actually watched any of the other Marvel movies. Especially when you hear her saying, "Oh, Stark was a billionaire. I'm building this in this little. I have nothing, and I'm still building this." And that's why the meme is going around. Tony Stark built this suit in a fucking cave
with scraps.
With scraps, and that is why I say people who wrote this didn't watch the movies. They know nothing about this.
I'm even gonna
No,
reference
and-
Iron
and-
Man 3. He worked in a garage with a kid to build some shit.
Yeah,
he like worked
exactly.
with scraps of that again.
Honestly, the writing sounds like it's some privileged little white woman who's writing as a black woman to say, "Look what we're doing in the name of diversity."
If that is the case, she's the most racist piece of shit I've ever come across. Because
They always are. They always
there's
are.
nothing but black
Every
tropes in
time.
this fucking show, right? If I had written this and people saw my face, they would fucking lynch me. They would. It's fucking racist. That's what it is. Nothing but black tropes.
Yeah, like, and we're sitting there. Look, there are a lot of people that are very angry about some of the coverage of Ironheart. About once every 6 months, this happens where Black Twitter, Black TikTok, or somebody gets a hold of some reaction of us laughing on FNT, and it starts making the rounds. They're very happy about this one, but I would just like to point out that and none of the people on the panel, none of the people in the chat, probably, none of us on FNT, we are not the ones who decided to take a story about a young black girl and turn her into a complete and total criminal. We're not the ones that decided to make the entire gang of crime diverse as shit and make them evil criminals. That's not us. We didn't do that. We are reacting to what Marvel did because that's what they think this should be, an authentic black story about a criminal. That's their view of it. We're just reacting to it and laughing at it. And it's been rough. Not gonna lie, it's been rough to watch.
And they could have made it great by making her say, you know, I want to try to take up the mantle of Tony Stark and do what he did and help people, be there for the people who can't defend themselves and yada yada yada. But instead, you have all the shit that she's spouting. It's just ugh.
And
And Star Wars Marvel purist couldn't join us because he just wanted to finna drop in and say hi. Got to go steal some shit from my new computer. That's the next episode of Ironheart, ironically.
It's probably better than what they have written.
I bet your stuff is on fleek, Star Wars Marvel
God.
purist.
Oh,
Don't make a ratchet computer.
Can we lynch John for that one?
Please.
no.
I feel like it's allowed, yeah.
I made sure to say without an accent so nobody can call me racist. I'm just saying it in the nerdiest way possible.
Cole Hauser for two. What's up, Ryan? My rigga. Praise Allah. Thank you, Cole Hauser.
Seriously, I always do reference though. I'm like, You know, whenever I was fucking like whatever 2000, I would have been 9 years old, like 2001. I think it was whenever the Blade 2 video game came out, and you know, always watching the Blade movies. I know it's not a chick, so it didn't check every box that this does, but it's like my brother and I got that. We grew up in Bumblefuck, PA. There was one black kid in the class. If anybody was going to be racist about it, it was going to be us. And it's like, nah, we just had fun. We love the character. We never even fucking thought about his goddamn race because he wasn't constantly spouting a bunch of messaging about it. He was just being cool. And it was like nobody gave a shit.
We all wanted to be Blade.
Exactly. He was just fucking awesome. He had cool gadgets. He had an awesome attitude. Wesley Snipes, before, he was tax evading, sure, but we didn't know that at the time.
Give him a medal. I mean, Wesley Snipes in those years, he was the shit. I mean, everything he touched.
Gosh.
One of my favorite movies is Murder at 1600 and U.S. Marshals. I've watched these movies regularly. It's fucking great.
Oh yeah, and Will Smith back then, like fucking whenever we watched Wild Wild West, I mean, we were little kids, so we didn't know what a shit movie it was, but we were thinking about Selma Hayek being hot and fucking Will Smith being cool.
Yeah, I mean, like in Blade, like this will probably one of the reasons they can't remake Blade now, because they'd have to put in a scene where fucking Blade is like bitching and moaning about being black, and Whistler comes to try to console him, and he bitches him out because like he's like, the only reason I got you around, old man, is you got a high credit score and I get loans, like some shit like that. Like,
he's like, Blade, you got to kill those vampires. He's like, don't you ever talk to me. You don't know my struggle, Whistler. You need to be silent and help. Support me. Be an ally.
I mean, of course, Demolition Man.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Nostradamus couldn't have made it better.
Who knew that men would actually be having sex that way now? But yes.
Or Taco Bell would be an expensive restaurant. Go figure.
Yeah. It's still cheap-ish compared to everything else. But
Taco Bell's got a good app. That was one good thing that came out of COVID. They let you customize all the shit on the app because, people didn't want to go in the restaurant as much. Good stuff.
Yeah, dude. DoorDash drivers must have made a fucking killing during COVID, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Kalecki for 5. True about the trailers, Ryan, but look at 28 years later. Trailer was amazing. Movie, not so much. I'm hoping the complete opposite with Superman. But sure, and like I said, you can be tricked by trailers, which means they did their job and got you there. They didn't do the whole job and make a good movie, but the marketing was good for it.
I'd rather be tricked by a trailer than tricked by a movie.
I feel like it's a lot easier to pick out 2.5 minutes of something awesome looking and edit it together to make it look cool. I feel like that's a lot easier to have happen than to go the opposite direction and be like, we have this amazing movie, but we're going to pick out all the shit from it to show you. Like, I feel like it happens less often. You can make a lot of awesome looking trailers off of shit movies pretty easily. But I mean, it is possible both ways for sure.
Maybe we'll all be in for a big surprise. Cole Hauser for 5 says, we saw Phantom Menace at a 4 a.m. showing. Theater was packed. Everyone was dressed up. It was wild. I really don't remember the theatrical experience for Phantom Menace. I remember before it. I remember getting excited to go. I don't really remember watching it very much. And I remember the aftermath. I do remember Attack of the Clones vividly. Fucking looking over my buddy when fucking Padme's and like some of those different outfits. Every time she breathes, her tits are popping. When she's trying to tell Anakin, hey, we shouldn't give into this temptation. Just leave me alone as I wear my fucking titty shirt. And then obviously in the white, then miraculously that Nexu fucking scratches her midriff to be like open. I remember that vividly as like a 13-year-old or whatever I was. Looking over at my friends.
Healthy young boy.
Yeah. And of course, Revenge of the Sith.
I mean, I remember being in the movie theater and first time we see Darth Maul coming in of the big door and popping out his dual blade. People, madness. Just people were nuts. Right? And it is the coolest. Darth Maul is one of the best characters, until Disney got their hold of him, by the way, but one of the coolest characters ever made in Star Wars, period. The way he looks, he's just evil. He's just so delightfully fucking evil, right? And he looks just great.
Fine with me.
And the music during the double lightsaber reveal as
Yeah.
well.
Oh.
Like when the John Williams score just hits, when it opens up and the
Yeah.
music hits initially as he's there.
I'm getting
Perfect.
goosebumps right now.
Yeah, perfect.
I just saw yesterday the Fellowship of the Ring with the orchestra playing in front of it. And yeah, great movies will still pop even like 20-something years later. People were fucking applauding like they were seeing it for the first time whenever they're, you know, hugging at the end or whenever he cuts off Lurtz's head. It was like a fucking theater reaction of people who had never seen the movie before. It was pretty awesome.
Those are very fun. Most recent one I went to was Jurassic Park, actually, a couple months ago. Went to Jurassic Park with a live symphony there and with a live orchestra, I should say. And it was great. I love going to movies and watching them like that.
Speaking of Jurassic Park, what if you want to know how to do a trailer for a movie right? Watch the original Jurassic Park trailer from 1993. That's how you make a trailer for a movie.
I actually did a
That should-
presentation in college on that trailer because of how
that
they
is
didn't
a
show the
case study.
dinosaurs. Yeah.
That is a case study on how to do it 100% perfectly.
Mm.
So I've recently heard a theory that makes sense because somebody brought up Lord of the Rings. I think it was you, John.
Mhm.
Has anybody else heard the theory that Frodo doesn't know Legolas's name?
Does he never say it?
He never says it, and at the end of the movie, he says everybody's name except for Legolas's, and he never says Legolas's name throughout all three movies.
Does he interact with him much? I don't think so.
Maybe Frodo's actually Asian and he can't pronounce his L's.
Ragnaros.
Yeah. Maybe that is it.
Well, no, he says Gimli, Aragorn. He says all of them. Gimli.
That's funny. It is like when you go back and look. So like in say Harry Potter, the first Harry Potter movie, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry does not do a single ounce of magic in the entire fucking movie. He doesn't do one single spell. He doesn't do anything throughout that entire fucking movie. Which is kind of strange, but it just is what it is.
I just remember the video game. I think it was for Deathly Hallows Part 1, where the characters say stupefy every time that you shoot your fucking wand. It gets so annoying. They're just like, stupefy, 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 like 20 million times a level. You're just like, shut the fuck up, Harry. Jesus.
Well, at least they're saying it. I
That's
actually,
true.
so nonverbal spells are a thing. However, they're difficult. And, you know, some adult wizards are better at it than others, but that's one of those like changes you make for like adaptation, like on screen, where it like might make sense, right? Because it's just so much smoother and seeing people just like shoot the spells and stuff. But obviously, it's very different from the books, where you're going to hear an incantation, you're going to hear a spell, like they're going to say what they're doing.
No, in the movies, I agree. They should have probably said stuff more. And honestly, Harry should have learned more than like 4 or 5 spells. He kind of what is he? He does like a few of them, and then one of them he's not even allowed to use with the killing curse. So, you know, he kind of knows how to do that. Hogwarts Legacy, that was the big that was the big thing that like you could just kill a bunch of people with fucking spells as a kid.
Dude, it was awesome. If you leveled up the dark arts tree, you could set it up to where you could put curses on individual enemies and then kill another one, and everyone that was cursed would die. It was
the
crazy
if
AoE.
you really get into it.
And you could just straight up juggle entire groups of people.
I mean, I loved the idea that you learn the unforgivable curses in Hogwarts Legacy.
And you learn them from kids.
Come on,
awesome.
And you use them a lot.
I took the Darth Pass so easly in that game where they're
know,
just like,
dude,
but isn't this morally reprehensible? I'm like, don't give a shit. Want to learn the
Don't give a
spells?
shit. It's
Bye-bye.
fun. Move
You're
aside.
either win or you lose.
Rufio for 199. Here's some pity money. Well, thank you for the pity money, Rufio. I'll take any money, even pity money. Cole Hauser for 2. Director X was probably a ghost producer on set. Strikingly similar to Robin in the Hood.
I was thinking of that show a lot while watching those episodes.
Lore Master Chris for 199. Joker. It's not about money. It's about a message. That is Hollywood. SWA for $10. Currently reading MedStar 1. Very cool. James Gunn's Superman is super whiny. Yes, he loses cool once in a while, but he's just too whiny. Looks like Flash CGI, the greatest superhero movie ever made. Iron turd. The reason it looks a little like the Flash is because it's the same cinematographer. Same cinematographer for the Flash is this movie's cinematographer. It's really funny watching. Look, it is hard to trust any fucking like influencer or whatever who gets invited to some big premiere and like anything that they really have to say, right? And I get that. Some people are probably being truthful. Some people probably aren't. It's up for everybody to tell the difference, which one they think is being honest, which one that isn't. However, that Soups guy, that Matt Ramos, whatever his name is, who goes by Soups.
Oh yeah.
To watch like all the hype and excitement he has for like getting involved in this, and then to like rewind 2 or 3 years ago to when The Flash came out and watching him telling everybody that it's like the greatest superhero movie ever, that you have to go experience this in theaters and like all this shit, how excited he was for all this stuff. It's very funny.
Those people always expose themselves over time for sure. Cause I remember like the first time that I remember his last name's Butts. Isn't it like Jacob Butts that does the reactions to the trailers? And the first time that it came out, people were kind of defending him. They're like, hey, he's just showing some genuine excitement and stuff. And then you end up checking out a video like 3 years later, and he's doing the exact same fucking thing. It's so obvious that it's Eric Butts. That's right, SWA. Yeah, and he's like, before the trailer even starts, he's already like, you can see that he's trying to make himself cry by like the Rise of Skywalker trailer or something. It's just like, okay, you're gonna make yourself cry at every fucking trailer, and it doesn't matter what the hell they show on screen. Like he's just like it's like,
You guys have no idea how much worse it could be. 40K fans. So, I mean, I recently did a video because this is kind of the most annoying part of Games Workshop. They make all the influencers who do like the lore videos and the promo videos sign contracts where there's a no disparagement clause. So you go through their entire channel and it's nothing but positive for Games Workshop. You go to other people, they're like, yo, this is garbage, this is BS. And I think GW just recently canceled somebody's contract and struck down their entire channel for saying one negative thing. And GW, I think over the last year or two, has struck something like 250 fan creators on YouTube. Some of them were probably legit and like trying to sell GW merch as GW merch. So, I mean, I'll say it probably wasn't the full 200, but think 200 people struck off of YouTube for making fan art of something they absolutely loved. And if you say anything bad and you're under contract, it's instant, your livelihood's gone. So, I mean, like, you think the influencers are bad now? It can get worse.
well, didn't Theory run into this?
To Games Workshop, there are no female custodies. Go fuck yourselves.
Didn't Theory run into this with Star Wars Outlaws, where like they were inviting him out, but then they said like, "Oh, you can't say anything bad though," and so he was like, "Well, then I'm not going to play it early," basically.
I don't know if that's.
I thought he made a video on that or something, but
I don't know if that's the case. But maybe, like, and that I remember the most nervous I've ever been watching a movie was when a couple of us got invited to go see Gina Carano's Terror on the Prairie, like to go to the premiere of that. And I was just fucking praying that I didn't think it was a massive pile of shit, right? Because I'm like, I'm going to have to talk about this. I'm going to have to tell people about this. I hope it's not bad, right? And
you look good, though.
And I had some criticisms for it. I think I gave it like, a 5.5 or something. I didn't think it was like, oh my gosh, I enjoyed it, but I was more like hyper aware of what I was talking about for that movie than anything else. Cause I didn't, obviously I knew some of the people involved with it, but then also I didn't want people to think that I wasn't being honest because I knew some of the people involved with it, to the point where I would not want to, it made it so difficult for me, like thinking about the review, that I would just not want to do that again, if that makes sense. Because I wouldn't want people I wouldn't want people thinking that I'm one of these people that got invited to see this thing and just said good things about it. So I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm kind of the same way. It's like okay, I shilled the Dragon's Treasure tea because the tea man's awesome. But I told him, I was like, hey, I'm gonna make a meme video when I shill your product. Is that okay? And if he had said no, I'd be like, okay, I'm not promoting your shit. But he was like, yeah, do whatever you want. Just, don't like say things that'll like actually get his company in trouble. I was like, cool. So, I have a Dragon's Treasure tea promo in my videos now.
Well, there were a bunch of people that used to make that like Raid Shadow Legends. They all had that ad. And then I forget there was one channel that did it, and he basically like made fun of the game the entire time. Okay. Yeah.
They
just like
it after that, yeah.
He just shit all over it the entire time while taking their sponsorship.
Yeah. They ended up not paying them.
Yeah.
Bro, they used to, I mean, I got emails for Raid Shadow Legends. Like,
yeah.
You'll get, if you're on YouTube for long enough, you'll get fucking random shit that's clearly from people that have not watched your channel. They're just like sending out bots to people with either certain subscribers or certain views or certain demographics or whatever. But yeah, the Raid Shadow Legends people paid good fucking money. But that's why they were fucking everywhere for a while.
Yeah, well, the waves that I remember are Raid Shadow Legends. There was the one cooking at home, like meal service. Blue Apron. Blue Apron was on every fucking podcast for a little bit there. And then, what was the other one? Oh, yeah, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the one that, like, fucking appears everywhere.
BetterHelp. So we've been doing a couple sponsors on Geeks and Gamers, and I'm not opposed to it at all. Like, you send me the stuff. Like, usually it's me. If I'm doing the ad read, I'm the one that gets sent the thing. So, like, I actually just got something from like a cereal company that we're supposed to be potentially talking about soon to try it and everything, which is great.
Magic Spoon.
It is actually, yeah. I've
seen a couple of them ads.
So I don't think the cereal itself is bad. I think the issue with their cereal is it's too much protein because you can just taste it.
Well, I'm gonna try it soon, so I can actually like try it. But for me, especially because I've been watching a lot of like what I'm eating in terms of like my macros and stuff to start the day off. So I'm looking forward to at least trying it. I just got it in the mail. But BetterHelp was one of those. BetterHelp was one of those at one point that reached out and was like interested, and it's like, no, we've one. They went through a whole lot of shit. A whole lot of controversy surrounding them. I'm sure Reefer remembers all of this. I'm sure Sleazy remembers all of this.
Yeah, and
what are we remembering? Sorry,
the Yaki, or not the Yakimoto, the fucking knife company that was selling dog shit. They were the kind of same way.
Yeah.
But, and titles. Fuck the title scam.
Yeah, you could become a lord in Scotland. Oh my god.
Any moron who paid for that deserved to lose their money.
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
It's millions did.
It's kind of like, it's kind of like naming stars, but naming stars is a little bit more, better.
Not really.
Not really, but like you could do it for your kid, and it costs you like $50. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's cool for like a kid who's interested in astronomy,
right?
Just like them thinking for a little while. But like I know there were fucking adults who are like, I'm gonna buy 50 star names.
Oh, I know.
I'm just picturing Ryan's BetterHelp ad. The one commenter mentioned it, just be like,
"Get over
if you're a little
it.
pussy ass bitch who doesn't."
Well, and that was legitimately the thing. It's like, because somebody will come forward, they're like, "Hey, we're thinking about doing this," and it's like, "Hey, gonna be honest with you, that's not going to work." One, we've heard a couple things. We might not be comfortable working with that company in general, but also I've told too many people to fucking kill themselves to realistically justify like doing a mental health ad. Like, it's just not going to work, right?
It's like an allergy avoidance commercial after your rant on allergy people.
Just genuinely, like, there's no way that I could fucking sit there and promote a mental health company when I fucking talk to people the way that I do. It just doesn't make sense. So,
and it wouldn't make sense long-term financially either, because you would lose all credibility with your audience and just be like, oh, well, he's just a fucking sellout. He's just going to say whatever, even if he doesn't believe it at all.
That's right.
I mean, you have to be careful. As you say, you get the wrong ad and people are going to think, what the hell? That's why I like that you stick to your coffees and your 9 lines and shit like that, because we also know that they most of these companies align with you, politically or culturally.
Certain things are
and
just
certainly every fucking ad read isn't going to be like for everybody, and not everyone's going to be interested in that product or whatever, and that's perfectly fine. But there's some that it's just like that's not going to work.
But it's still weird for me to hear Gary read an ad. It's just.
It's because he struggles with reading so much.
all 20 minutes of the 30-second ad that he reads.
Yeah, because he gets fucking interrupted by ass all the fucking
Tangent
time.
on a tangent on a tangent, and then get back to the end of the ad.
Draconis with 5 gifted memberships to the live channel. Thank you very much, Draconis. And then right after that, Drakenwolf with 5 gifted memberships as well. Thank you both. That's 10 new memberships there. Sleazy sent 5 before the stream even started, so appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Hell yeah. Bo Briscoe for 10. What's good, nerds? I need to get on the short list for getting on a stream with you, Ryan. Let's do it, Bo. As I mentioned in the beginning, we'll mention it again now that we're getting towards the end. But so every month we do this live stream here over on this channel. These are some of the guys who have been supporting me for a long time. You can get on the stream by becoming a master member or a master level patron supporter, a top tier membership supporter on YouTube. So the Raging Ryan level 3, or the equivalent on a place like Locals, which was Sleazy does. So that's the way to get over here on the stream, and that's support over on the main channel, which is kind of confusing that we do this over here. But we want to leave the live streams up, which is why we do it over here. It's very fucking complicated, to be honest with you.
It's all algorithm bullshit.
It is, yeah. Look, some people leave their streams up. I don't leave mine up. Just kind of depends.
Yeah, it messes with how your stuff gets sent out and recommended to people. So it's better to have the live streams on one and the videos on the other.
Well, especially because I clip so much of my streams. Do you know what I mean? Because I clip so much of my streams for videos. It's one of the reasons I do it as well. Cole Hauser says, I love Magic Spoon. So good. Ryan, will you get to my size? Cole Hauser is fucking jacked. So I probably not. I really have no interest in getting that big.
Was he standing next to Drunk 3PO in that picture?
Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ, he's big. Because Drunk is a big guy.
Yes. So probably not that. Jackson Cagle, but that's good to hear, Cole Hauser. I'll give it a try. Jackson Cagle for 5 says, Hail RK. Thank you, Jackson. Yeah, that's the thing. Unfortunately, one of the downsides to eating things that are relatively okay for you is that it doesn't taste as good as the things that are bad for you most of the time. An unfortunate side effect. An unfortunate side effect. But it is what it is.
It depends on how you prepare it, right? You know, chicken without the skin can be good if you put it on a grill with some spices and some fresh greens and whatever. Fucking good.
I don't care how much effort I put into fucking making a chicken this way and that, and it can be good. It's not going to taste as good as getting a fucking 30 count of nuggets from Chick-fil-A and dunking them in Chick-fil-A sauce. Like, it's just not.
True.
Right?
Chick-fil-A fries with their cheese sauce. Oh. They make a mean shake too.
Ryan, how are you not 300 pounds?
He has a tapeworm.
Yeah.
I wish I had a tapeworm. I mean, I honestly, I guess I just in general have like okay metabolism, like normally. However, for the past several months, I have been going out of my way to eat fairly good. And I'm going to the gym a decent amount and stuff like that. So really, I can't sit here and say I've been pigging out on this, pigging out on that over the past couple months. I've been pretty disciplined for the most part.
So no more hallway pizza?
I haven't had hallway pizza in so long.
How absolutely un-American.
Yeah, I know, right?
Kind of the time of day that you eat counts a lot too. Like if you stuff yourself with something like that right before bed, yeah, you're probably gonna put on a shit ton of weight. But like me, I get all my junk food out like in the middle of a work day, and then I go and work on another job site for 3-4 hours because I figure, oh, we're gonna work this. I'm gonna sweat my ass off for 4 hours. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna work a lot of this off right now.
Off 2-3 metric tons of concrete. It's gonna burn up a couple of burgers real fast.
Well, yeah, it's like, I want to make sure I'm eating a ton of carbs before I go to work out. I probably don't want to eat that same exact meal right before I sleep. You know, things like that. So, Rufio for $5. You have to live in either Middle Earth or Harry Potter world. Which one are you choosing?
Harry Potter because a gun wins.
Yeah, Middle Earth is kind of not advanced. Like Harry Potter, there's a lot of convenience that Middle Earth is not going to have. You're going to have to like, do they even have indoor plumbing in Middle Earth? I don't think so. It's like, yeah, there's
But
a lot of
Middle Earth
inconvenience
has-
there I'm not about.
Middle Earth has speaking dragons.
Unless I'm like an elf in Middle Earth and I'm going to live for like, you know, and I'm never going to
Yeah.
have any health problems and shit. Like if I'm a certain, I don't mean to sound racist, but I would only want to be certain races in Middle Earth.
And you get to
Imagine
have
being
all
an
the,
orc.
you still get to have all the Muggle conveniences as well, right? Like, you're in the mid '90s, right? But my fucking fat cousins got video games and stuff on his computer, and he got a PlayStation. Even though technically, when that book was released, the PlayStation wouldn't have quite released yet, based on that year. But you know, that aside, we know J.K. Rowling might not be a huge mega nerd. It's okay.
Oh, she is a woman, so you know she's
She's a
wrong.
woman.
Who
I
wants to
think
play
that- I
PlayStation
think
when
in
you can sit on
theory-
a broom flying to the Caribbean?
I think in theory, the PlayStation technically had just released in Japan, but not anywhere else.
It's 93 in Japan, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the book had been written before it was officially released everywhere else. So that's like the headcanon thing that the Dursleys just have a huge hookup from Japan that they were able to get Dudley a PlayStation that early.
She's a
I
huge
think I'd
nerd.
actually-
She knew.
I think I'd actually take Middle Earth.
Better food.
What reasons? Better food? You get McDonald's, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
I said
Um,
food, Ryan. Food.
There's still more wonder to Middle Earth than there would be in Harry Potter modern society bullshit.
New discoveries, undiscovered lands, and whatnot.
Yeah,
God,
you can have
literal
it. Dude.
gods.
Being an American during Harry Potter, you're a shaman that uses fucking firearms.
Why are you so
Because
obsessed with the gun part?
Because
he's an
firearms
American.
just beat magic. Magic's
American.
bullshit. This travels at 1,500 feet per second.
Ryan,
Potato, motherfucker.
I know you hadn't seen the
the
Potter-
bullet travels before you can say it.
This is how one of the Potter Puppet Pals ends, where they're just like, "All right, Voldemort, move a little bit more to the left," and then they're just like, "Now everybody shoot him!" And they all just come out with Uzis and fucking pepper Voldemort with bullets.
That's why this takes place in the UK where they don't have any fucking guns. Okay.
But there's lore for the Americas. That's what I'm saying. Like,
That's
of
true,
course, I'd
yeah.
rather live there than Middle Earth.
I think I'd enjoy Middle Earth more.
I think if you're just gonna go on like a 2-week backpacking trip or something,
Middle Earth.
I would maybe say Middle Earth.
Yeah.
However, I might just want to go on a backpacking trip in fucking Harry Potter world, and then I could have the magic tent in my back that when I fucking set it up for the night, it opens up and it's like a 2-story fucking building with indoor plumbing and everything in it. So
Yeah.
Going neither. Don't
where do you want
to
to live?
Neither one of these. Well, just for the sole reason because Satan Incarnate almost took over the world in both these properties.
Almost.
Look, Voldemort almost took over the UK, right?
Yeah.
Like that's it. And he was really
That's what
so
I'm
focused
saying.
on this fucking school, he let it get in the way of all of his other problems.
Let's take over America. Why is there 5,000 nukes in the air?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told Voldemort it was the apple of his eye. I said, "Don't do it, Voldemort. Don't do it."
Obviously there's something like very pure about like the idealism of like Middle Earth and like stuff like that, which would be cool. However, to live my life, I'd want it to be similar to the way my life is now, just better. Which would probably be Harry Potter.
Yeah, but could you imagine explaining modern tech to dwarves in Middle Earth? How fast they would crank that shit out?
They don't have electricity.
I was gonna say. I mean, you would have to mimic.
Could you imagine going and teaching the dwarves about modern technology?
So, but that everything would rely on your ability to explain how to recreate some invention, right?
This,
You think you couldn't teach the dwarf making gunpowder? They already have gunpowder in the show.
Do you know how to make a turbine?
Yes.
Right.
the
Okay.
thing is,
That is the first big hurdle, right? Because you have to generate the power, then you have to send the power places, then you have to convert the power so that it can work in certain aspects.
Build a steam engine.
this comes up in an alternative history novel I read called Guns of the South, where they go back to the Civil War and they give the Southerners like these AK-47s. Basically, it's these South Africans from like modern day go back in time, and they try to build more. And they're like, "Well, you don't have the machines to build the things that we need to build." Like it's so many steps back that they're like, "Well, we can't help you out too much." And by the end, they like build a kind of a rudimentary version of it just by looking at the end product. They get like some of their top people on it. But it becomes like, yeah, there is a certain area where you're like so many steps removed. Middle Earth would obviously be much more than that because they had firearms back in the 1800s. But you know, it's like you go really far back from Middle Earth going to modern day.
I mean,
You
I
would-
just
you would
equip Frodo
really
with
have-
a blunderbuss, and he deals with everything himself.
Oh god, Frodo would stare and cry for 20 minutes before he fired it. He would debate.
You're right,
whether
it had
to
to be
shoot.
Sam.
Now, Mary
Exactly.
and
Fair point.
Pippin, on the other hand, you give them a blunderbuss and you've got yourself a spin-off.
Pippin will shoot himself. He'll be like, "How do you fire this, Matty?"
Give Gollum a blunderbuss. Stick him up.
Fireworks.
Gollum just becomes a crackhead trying to rob
There's
everybody.
Fireworks are most-
He already is a crackhead.
You're talking about trying to incorporate like electricity and shit into Middle Earth. You're trying to convince elves to use magic to mimic, like,
Oh no, they're pretentious assholes. Fuck the elves. They can live. They can live.
or
in
you're.
Oh,
I
Yeah,
want
they can
to
fuck-
live with the elves.
They
I
can
wanna
fuck
live
off
with
to
fucking
the Eternal Lands.
Gandalf is such a pothead. He would just ask you for all the modern drugs. He'd just be like, "Hey, what's this fentanyl I've been hearing
I don't know
about?"
I don't know what kind of weed they smoke, but I want some.
I'd like you to lace this with that acid I've been hearing about. It sounds fucking awesome.
What is this?
Mr.
this
J, you
smoke
keep,
cube?
I don't know if you're like hitting your mic or a wire or something, but every once in a while we get like a pretty loud pop from your end. But yeah, just imagine fucking showing Gandalf like there. That's really loud, Mr. J. I muted you for a second, like breaking our ears. Yeah, imagine Gandalf just fucking, you find him just OD'd on heroin. He's got a fucking syringe in between his toes, basically.
I actually noticed yesterday, Saruman brings up to him, he's like, "Oh, your love of the hobbit's weed has made you not notice, or their leaf
Blown
has
your
made you not notice that the ring was there for 60 years." And Gandalf doesn't even deny it. He just goes, "Yeah, but we still have time, right?" It's just like, typical pothead. He's just like, "Yeah, but it's cool though, bro. I think we still got this."
So to tie this back in a little bit nerdy, does everybody know what Kingmakers is? The game coming out.
Dude, that looks so fucking cool. Yeah.
That's
We
where you
got the
travel
release
back in
date of
time.
October.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. So you
Yeah.
know, you bring in AKs and tanks and attack helicopters and trucks and fuck off medieval knights.
Yeah, it looked like Dynasty Warriors kind of, but with like going modern day back into the giant crowds of enemies.
It's like the anime Gate.
Yeah.
Oh man. I think I read this one already from Jackson, but just make sure. Hail RK. Thank you, Jackson. If I didn't get it earlier. That's about gonna wrap it up. I didn't expect a debate over Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. Which world would you exist in perpetuity?
Yeah, we
Never
didn't
know what
hardly
you're doing
talk
here.
about shit that we were going to talk about.
Bro, we
Those
spent a
would be
lot of time
nerds.
talking about a baseball player's dead mom.
Yeah, we talked a lot about sports this time around. A lot to catch up on, though.
It is a lot to catch up on. You never know. But I do want to thank all these guys for joining me. Some of them have channels. Some of them might just have nothing to plug. But Mr. J, what do you got going on, man?
Not much. 4 more days, and I'm off to my 3 weeks of paid summer holidays. I can't fucking wait.
You fucking Europeans, man. That sounds really good, actually.
Lazy bastards.
Yeah.
Subsidized by the US.
Yeah.
Thank me, Mr. J.
My
Say
tax
please and
dollars
thank
pay
you,
for
Mr.
your shit.
Zelensky.
That does sound good. Hope you have a good time, man. Thanks for coming by again.
Yep,
And
no problem.
happy Pokemon going as well.
Mm.
Yeah, have
Sir
fun with that.
Reaper, what about you?
No.
No, nothing.
Nothing to promote. I'm just here this time.
All
I'm
right.
just here.
Good to have you back, man. Sleazy, you definitely have a channel.
Yes, my channel is Sleazy Society, where I have been extremely busy because I'm doing a bunch of different things, but I still manage to get videos out and do occasionally do the Shameless Shekels Shakedown when it's going to be too long for a short little video. Video game is coming along great. It should be out, I'm going to say, in the next year. We should at least be in early access. And yeah, I think that's what I've got going on my end.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Thanks for coming on, man. Just put his link in the chat. What about you, John Gets Gaming?
Well, quick question for Sleazy, actually. Are you planning on, will you be releasing that on consoles eventually, or will it be PC only?
No, it'll be for everything. And I literally mean everything.
Oh, cool.
There will be a mobile version, consoles, PC, everything.
Awesome. Okay.
That's why it's
Yeah.
taking so long.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. But yeah, I mean, I haven't been streaming as much the last couple days because I had company coming over for that to go see that concert and everything this weekend. But definitely be checking out the gaming. I'll be been doing some Ace Attorney recently, first time playing through that, which is highly entertaining and definitely a great education for anybody studying law in the U.S. It's a very realistic series. But also going to be checking out Death Stranding too. So come and check out whatever the fuck Hideo Kojima's going to write about Norman Reedus kissing babies or whatever.
There you go. Check out John. I just put his link in the chat as well. And last but not least, Gabriel Knight. What do you got going on, man?
Not a lot. I just came here to hang out, but I do want to give props to John over there. He did this shield video where he's reacting to the Fantastic Four trailer, and I laughed my ass off. That was hilarious, man.
Nice.
It is. Yeah, I do parody reactions, basically trying to act like the worst possible shills.
Perfect. That is perfect. Well, thanks, Gabe, and thanks everybody for joining. Again, we will do this. Unless we hear anything different, we will probably rejoin on Sunday, July 27th. That is the last Sunday of July, and we'll be back here on this channel. So thank you to the people in the chat that supported, and thanks for subbing to the channel and the gifts and super chats and all that. I'll be live probably in 2 to 2.5-ish hours over for my normal Sunday live stream. So I'll see all you guys there. But once again, thank you. We'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Later.
Later.